Hello, welcome to today's immigration tidbit. Okay, so first of all, I have to define what double jeopardy is. There's a lot of people who think that you're convicted in one particular court and something else happens and you're being tried twice for exactly the same thing, and that's double jeopardy, and that's not the case. So let me give you an example of what double jeopardy is. Okay, so you have a clear idea. Let's say, and I'll exaggerate a little bit. Let's say that somebody gets charged with murder. Okay, and let's say they deny the charges and it goes through the trial. They have a jury trial. Ultimately, the jury comes back and says that that person is not guilty. Okay? Now, let's say 2 years later, somebody comes forward with a bloody knife with the DNA of the person who got off all over that knife. And let's say that that knife was nowhere to be seen at the first trial. Now, let's say that the prosecutor says, well, now we have all the evidence we need to prove the... God, my inReach is going on and on. Sorry. Let's say that the prosecutor says, well, now we have all the evidence that we need to go forward and win the murder charge against this guy. So they go forward and they bring the exact same charge in the exact same court, although technically it doesn't have to be in the same court for double jeopardy to apply, but let's just say in the court for murder charges. And this time they have a bloody knife with all of his DNA on it, and they know they're going to win. Well, that case will get thrown out for double jeopardy. They had their shot and they lost. Okay, that is double jeopardy. There are, for example, let me give you cases that are not double jeopardy. Okay, let's use Trump. Trump is claiming double jeopardy in regards to his criminal convictions, which they're not convictions yet, but the prosecution. And it absolutely, positively is not double jeopardy. He was brought up on impeachment charges in Congress. So the law for doing impeachment is completely different than the law for violating what he violated and coming into judicial courts. Completely different. Likewise, specific to your question, this person went to criminal court and had certain events occur. And afterwards, immigration court, which is an administrative agency under the Department of Justice, which follows an entirely different set of laws, because what you're talking about in the first instance were state criminal laws of which this person went to court, was adjudicated one way or another, and that was that. Now, the immigration court can take immigration federal laws to determine if, for example, what this person did or didn't do is considered a conviction under immigration laws. And if it is, then that person will get brought into removal proceedings in order to try to be removed or do a waiver or cancellation or whatever needs to be done. It's two completely different things. Yes, it hinges on the conduct that occurred in criminal court, but it is not being prosecuted again in the same jurisdiction, in the same court, under the same laws for the same facts. It's not. Completely different. So hopefully that clears up the misconceptions about what double jeopardy is, even though my inReach kept beeping 100 times, and hopefully you could hear over it. And it does let you know that because the immigration laws are separate and apart, and I've said this before, if one can become a U.S. citizen, one should become a U.S. citizen so that they are no longer subject to the immigration laws which apply to lawful permanent residents and non immigrants and persons who are not here legally. Okay.